Hello and welcome to my new moon in Cancer tarot card reading. It is the second new moon in Cancer this summer. We had one a month ago and now here we are again with the second one, which to me means we are going deeper. We are dropping deeper into Cancer energy. If you have not had a chance yet to watch the one I made a month ago, it might be interesting for you to start there and look back to see how has my reading played out over the last few weeks for you. And then knowing that was the initial entry into this Cancer cocoon that we're all sitting in, knowing that that was the first level, it will guide you into what is possible now at the second new moon. So I am using my Zen tarot card deck for the majority of the reading, and then at the end I will do the Light Seers Tarot by Chris Ann. All right, I shuffled already. If you haven't watched my new moon card readings before, let me put the disclaimer that I'm not a professional at this. This is just what I do for pure joy because I love to read energy. That is what I do professionally. But the card reading is just like a fun play for me. So I do it around the new moon, and the messages are always amazing, or at least for me. You'll have to see for yourself. For me, they're amazing. Okay, so I am going to do 3 cards. The first one, we're going to tap into the collective vibration of what's happening now for everyone. What is this current energy that we are in? The second one will be the individual, like what is my individual experience, which I'm assuming you will have a match to if you are watching this video. And then the third one is going to be the highest possibilities for the next month. As we tune into now through August 20th, what is the highest possibility for all of us? Okay, so I'm going to cut the deck, and I've already shuffled. Did I already say that? I think I already said that. Okay, top of the deck, first card. This is for the collective now. The Lover's card, which is not what you think it is. Zen never is what you think it is. I'll say more about that in a moment. Never what you think it is. The second card, the individual now. Yeah, I'm going to take the next one down. The Master. I mean, really. Really? So good. So good. This is also not what you think it is. And then the highest possibilities. I'm going to take the 8th card down because I like the number 8. 1, 2, 7, 8. Trust. The highest possibilities for all of us. So perfect. So perfect. And then I've got this one. Interesting. Suppression. I feel like this is the contrast to this. Yeah. So I was only going to do 3 cards, and this card was sitting there like sort of crooked, and I'm like, we need to pull this. So this is very interesting. I feel like the highest possibilities are going to look one of these 2 ways, which you can see the contrast in the experiences. So this is also a highest possibility, which may not feel true, but let's look at it. Okay. I'm even talking like Zen now, aren't I? Talking in code. It may be, it may not be the highest. Okay, let's explore this. All right, so the collective now, the Lover's card. Okay, this is beautiful. So when you look at this card, and again, I'm hoping the lighting works. When I watched the video of the last one, I'm like, oh, you could totally see everything. So if you look at well, it may be depending on what jumps out to you first. I see the 2 figures looking at each other first. You see right here, these 2 figures. But if you can see down here within the heart, there are 2 figures that are embracing and right up next to each other. So this card talks about the 3 levels of love, which you can actually see it in this card. The lowest level of love is what most of us consider love, right? You see this red heart. How do I show that I love you? I put a little red heart on all social media icons, right? Like a little heart, 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 heart. Now it shows that I love you. This is the base level of love, the way that Osho describes it. He also uses the word sex, right? It's the physical connection of person to person exchanging energy. When you add in meditation, is how Osho describes it. I describe it as when you add in consciousness, connection, an ability to meet the other person as an individual, you reach the second phase of love, which is what Osho calls love. When you add in true bliss, I'll read you what he says, then you reach this level of love, which he calls compassion. The highest level of love is compassion. And so you can see the elevation of consciousness and connection, how it looks super connected here, but when you add in the space and you can truly see each other here, you eventually merge as one light up here. Isn't that amazing? It's so beautiful. So let me see what he says. I'll read you a little bit of this, although because I don't know what the cards are going to be, I don't have the pages prepared. So hold 1 second and let's see where the Lover's card is. I thought it's a major arcana card, so number 14. And I also don't know what these relate to in the regular tarot, so you may have to do some extra research on your own. All right, here's what he has to say. The Lovers. These three things are to be taken note of. The lowest love is sex. It is physical. And the highest refinement of love is compassion. Sex is below love. Compassion is above love. Love is exactly in the middle. Very few people know what love is. 99% of people, unfortunately, think sexuality is love. It is not. Sexuality is very animal. It certainly has the potential of growing into love, but it is not actual love, only a potential. If you become aware and alert, meditative, then sex can be transformed into love. And if your meditativeness becomes total, absolute, love can be transformed into compassion. Sex is the seed, love is the flower, compassion is the fragrance. Buddha has defined compassion as love plus meditation. When your love is not just a desire for the other, when your love is not only a need, when your love is a sharing, when your love is not that of a beggar but an emperor, when your love is not asking for something in return but is ready only to give for the sheer joy of giving, then add meditation to it and the pure fragrance is released. That is compassion. Compassion is the highest phenomenon. Right? So the card that we pulled for the collective now a month ago at the first new moon in Cancer was friendliness. I don't know if you remember this. It was two trees side by side, and each of the trees had different color flowers, and they were falling down, or petals and leaves, they're falling down to the ground. But it showed the strength of the two trees standing like this. If you remember, I was talking about how we were enmeshed, and then we come to stand side by side, and then we can flourish, right? We can see the beauty in the other. This card is showing up, but in a different way. We can be enmeshed in our relationships. Here's Cancer, all about relationships and home and security and safety. We can be all enmeshed and wrapped up in our relationships and be into the physical connection, the neediness of it. Or we can create some space between the individuals. We can connect third eye to third eye, consciousness to consciousness, and watch what happens. Right? We become this one unified energy field. How beautiful that is what's happening now, right? Isn't that amazing? Which, I don't know if you've noticed this, but for me, I've seen the word compassion over and over. It keeps showing up in social media for me and articles and things that I read, like compassion, this sense of grace. That was another word, grace. That we can relate to other people, not from a place of I have to change you, or I have to save or fix you, or I have to make you believe what I believe, or I have to have you be anything different than who you are. This was everything that I covered in our Sunday meditation call. Can I detach from needing you to be anything different than exactly who you are, and just love you? just love you. Just be in this space of compassion for your journey, for my journey, for the fact that we're all humans on this planet right now. That, if nothing else, should bring us compassion, right? Who at a soul level would have picked this experience, this crazy roller coaster ride that humanity is taking? It takes such courage and such strength to be a soul in a human body. And so can we have compassion for each other? Can we have compassion for ourselves? I mean, it's a lot. It is a lot. And so can we begin to add meditation to love, to create a little bit of space in our relationships so we can see the other and honor who they are, and allow them to honor us for who we are, and then add this meditation. Meditation to me is just stop the looping of the mind, create enough of a pause, a gap in the activity of the mind so that your soul can come forward and go, oh, that's right, you chose this. You chose this human journey, and everyone around you chose this human journey. Right? A little compassion, a little grace, a little space to be with that truth. So if that is the collective now, here's what we are individually being invited to experience. This card, I love this card. It's been one of my favorites from the time I got the deck. I was like, oh, it's the card with no number. I'm hoping you can see it very clearly. It also reminds me of Dumbledore in Harry Potter. I'm like, oh, I could be the master, the Dumbledore? Like, really? And you can see the full moon over his head. I love that we're getting a full moon card on a new moon night. This card is all about how the master is not a master over others, but a master over oneself. Profound, right? Like, it's not about taking care of bossing anybody around. It's, can you master yourself? Can you take all that you need to learn and apply it to you? Not worry about everybody else and what they're doing. So here is what the master says. This card I know because it's the last of the major arcana cards with no number. You go from 21 to nothing. The nothing card. All right, so here's, my nose is itching. Here's what the commentary says. The master in Zen is not a master over others, but a master of himself. I am going to change it to herself. Her every gesture and her every word reflect her enlightened state. She has no private goals, no desire that anything should be other than the way that it is. Her disciples gather around her not to follow her, but to soak up her presence and be inspired by her example. In her eyes, they find their own truth reflected. And in her silence, they fall more easily into the silence of their own beings. The master welcomes the disciples not because she wants to lead them, but because she has so much to share. Together, they create an energy field that supports each unique individual in finding his or her own light. If you can find such a master, you are blessed. If you cannot, keep on searching. Learn from the teachers and the would-be masters and move on. Let me show you the card again because it's so cool. What I love is the contrast in this card. The shadow, the light, the like multi-dimensionality of all of these like squiggles. Can you see? I think they're supposed to be trees in the moonlight, but they just look like energy waves, like vibration of energy moving around. And then you see these colors reflected in the crown here, the third eye in the crown, reflected also in the moon. It's like all of this wisdom flowing in all these directions. Isn't that incredible? And then the steadiness of this figure. Look how the master is looking right at the camera, right at the artist, not needing to say anything. Isn't that cool? Like not having to say anything, just holding the space while all of this energy is moving around. What if at this new moon we weren't talking quite as much? What if, let's see this. What if this is our goal, right? This one unified field of compassion. And in order for us to move from all this stuff here into this one unified field, there's just this stillness. See all the light, all the stillness. I mean, what if it's that easy and we're over here doing all this stuff to try to get to this, and it's really just about being still and quiet and listening and allowing all of the energy, the activity to move around us. There's so much information and decision making being required at this time. I was just talking to a new friend about how do you choose schools, you know, like what are you supposed to do as a parent with a child who's going back to school in the fall? And do you pick the option to keep them home and do virtual school? Do you send them into an unknown situation where the schedule could be changing all the time? Maybe they're home, maybe they're not home, maybe they're in classes, maybe there's distance, maybe there isn't. Like, right, that's just one decision. That's just school for a child. Then we have the decisions of where to eat, and there's so many decisions. And it's all coming at us like this. So what if the solution, the pathway, what if the pathway is just get really still, be in alignment. Look at the alignment of this light. And the centeredness, right? It makes me want to sit up straighter. Sit up straighter and like line up my energy. When we are centered in here, in our heart, when we are at peace and we know that we are in alignment with the highest expression of love, we're playing up here, or at the very least we're here. We're connecting, we're creating meditative space, we're loving each other. Maybe we're at compassion, but maybe we're just loving each other. We're not down here in all the muck of like, I need you and you need me and I gotta do this and you gotta do that, right? Like we've at least elevated to here. Maybe we're up here. If that's where we're playing, then our heart chakra is steady and centered. And our energy field can be, right, like peaceful and calm. You can feel the difference. And then we can sift through, like, this decision is important. This one needs more of my time and attention. This one, no, I don't need to worry about that. That is not my problem to solve, right? And we receive more information. And so we sort through, like, what is it that my centered energy and attention wants to focus on? And so we become very laser focused on where we put our time, where we contribute our energy. And because it's not scattered, because it's this aligned, right, energy that flows like that, it's like we become synchronized. We are flowing with the force, the life force that wants to move through us. And that energy flow is very direct. It's so powerful. Maybe that's what scares us. Maybe it scares us to be that powerful. And so if we can distract ourselves with lots of stuff and decisions, then we don't fully tap into that power. But we are here to be powerful beings making powerful creations, contributing powerful energy to what's happening on our planet. We're here to be the fullest expression of ourselves. And I had someone say that to me. Oh, it was just earlier on the phone, I think. I had someone say, was it today or yesterday? I don't remember time. But they said, how did they say it? They said it was easier. It's been easier to distract myself, right, with all that's happening than to look inward. Isn't that a powerful statement? How many of us could say the exact same thing? It's way easier to be busy and have lots of stuff and be so busy with our stuff that we can't actually tap into this power that wants to flow in through our crown. Well, guess what? This new moon in Cancer is going to create this in your journey. Why? Because astrology is kicking our asses right now. Because that is what's happening on our planet. All of this is moving to this. So you might as well get ready, because you're going to create one of these two options. I feel like I'm delivering really bad news. So don't shoot the messenger. Which way are you going to go? Right? Free fall into trust or wrap yourself up in all of this. So let's unpackage those two options. Oh boy. Okay. Option A, probably the one I would choose, is this: trust. As I say that, my cat is walking up to the window outside. She's like, yeah, do that one. Choose that one. It's way easier. Okay, trust. It looks like, to me, it looks like jumping out of an airplane with no parachutes and no idea if the ground is even there, except look at the color. I hope you can see it. It's like blues going into purples, going into pinks. Look at that soft landing. And look at the heart chakra energy of this. I mean, this card says, open up your hearts. Do you remember at the end of the last reading? I don't have the card, but you remember at the end of the last reading, it was that woman who was like this, and like all the spotlights were shining down on her, and I kept saying, dun, da, da, da. That's what this card is saying. It's saying, okay, last month it was like the ride is about to start. The roller coaster is going to the top of the hill. This one, she's like, we're at the top of the hill. We're going down into the ride. Are you ready? This is the best part of a roller coaster. Even though I don't really like roller coasters. The best part of the roller coaster is not at the top of the hill on the way up. It's free falling down, going into the twists and the turns in the ride. This card says trust. Trust that this is possible. You're mastering it. You're mastering yourself. How do you do that? What's the highest possibility of doing that? Trust. Trust yourself. Make choices that come from your knowing of your heart this way. I'm going to free fall. Isn't that a great song? I'm going to free fall into this experience. I don't even think I need to read anything about that card because you get it. You get it. Here's the card. Let me bring up some stuff. So the card is called Suppression, number 10. I don't know how well you can see all of it. It's like this character with legs and arms. It reminds me of like Thor in the Avenger movies. So it's like the head is locked into this position and everything has this person totally tangled up and twisted up. And they're in this like chasm where there's no door, no way out. Let's see what Zen has to say, right? I feel for you, friends. I feel for you. This is This is not fun news that I'm bringing, but new moon in Cancer, 96. Let me see what this has for you, for all of us. And also, we always have choice. We always have options, right? Suppression. So here's what it says. Okay, I'm going to read the commentary. The figure on this card is quite literally, so you can see it, yeah, all tied up in knots. His or her light still shines within, but we'll do she's again. But she has repressed her own vitality, trying to meet so many demands and expectations. I didn't see that before. This is the light. Can you see the light shining out? So the light's still there, right? And then all the light around the legs. Yeah, I'm looking at the picture. Okay. Her light still shines within, but she has repressed her own vitality, trying to meet so many demands and expectations. She has given up all her own power and vision in return for being accepted by the very same forces that have imprisoned her. The danger of suppressing one's natural energy in this way is apparent in the cracks of a volcanic eruption about to take place around the edges of the image. So that's all of these lines. The eruption is building. The real message of this card is to find a healing outlet for this potential explosion. It is essential to find a way to release whatever tensions and stresses might be building up inside of you right now. Beat on a pillow, jump up and down, go out into the wilderness and scream at the empty sky. Anything to shake up your energy and allow it to circulate freely. Don't wait for a catastrophe to happen. Damn. Whew. Okay. So, right? I mean, they both can be scary. Neither one's wrong. Both are going to take you to the next level of your journey. But this one just looks way more fun. Way more fun. So the wisdom from this card is find a way to let your energy start to move. Don't lock it all in and believe that there's nothing you can do. You can move the energy. Move the energy. And it's 4:44 as I look at my clock. The guides are saying, trust, it's so much easier. Okay, message from our guides at 4:44. I love that. Don't you love when numbers like just synchronize and play and show you like we're right here. We're right here. Why do you make it so hard? So I shuffled this Light Seers deck. Sometime I take a little video or a picture of how I shuffle. You guys will laugh. It's like when you're kids and you just put all the cards on the ground and you just match them all up. And then I try to stack it into a nice neat pile, and then I'm cutting the deck right now. Maybe someday I'll learn how to do it fancier, but in this moment, this just feels really steady and grounded and lets me connect to the cards. So our question, our focus for the energy right now is what wisdom, what guidance would our guides offer us at this time as we begin this new lunar cycle? What is the little extra message that they would offer us? I'm going to take from the top of the deck. Oh, 6 of Cups. And I'm going to do one more from the bottom of the deck. From the bottom of the deck. The Hermit. The Hermit. Okay, these I don't know as well because I haven't had this deck for very long. So I'm just going to tell you what I sense or feel as I look at the pictures. This is how I read energy. It's all visual and you don't need all the words printed out and written out. All right, so what would our guides be telling us? They would say, see the patterns, look at how everything is like there's an origin. My friend just did a reading for me last week, and she said, you know, everything goes back to the origin of the wound, the origin of the thing that you're trying to master. And so if you can travel back to what that origin is and allow yourself to feel it, to touch it, it transforms, right? So here is an example. To me, it feels like, God, there's so much here. He's content, right? He's really content in this moment. What I know as I look at this card is there's another phase. At some point, he's going to say goodbye to this dog, right? So here's where it started. Here's the current moment he's in, and there's going to be another phase right here where he says goodbye. But we don't always acknowledge that or see the full cycle of the energy. And so I feel like this card is saying to us, it's all going to cycle around, and yet this is the part that's important right now. Can you remember the origin and then relax right here in this moment? Be present here for this part of the experience. We can't go back to that, and we're not over there yet. We're right here. This card is also so much about Cancer energy, right? My home, my family, the intimate relationships I have, the steadiness of the support by my side, the relationships that have evolved from these little beginnings, a little kid, a little dog, a little puppy, to here where they've both grown up and they're still sitting side by side. We walk this human path with so many relationships like this, right? Remember the moment of beginning when you met your best friend, you met your partner, you first met your children. Remember that when you first met your children? And then here we are right now, and look at the richness of this moment, the miracle of this moment, and all that had to happen for this little guy to grow up and this little guy to grow up, all that had to happen in these cups. And yes, there's going to be another phase, but right now we're here. Can you be in the moment? This was our Sunday meditation also. Can you be fully present right here? Yeah, it's beautiful. And then also like all the lights, all the light, right? Look at these cards, the highest possibility, all the reds, the oranges, the pinks, the white. The light here, the same little pathway of light coming down, like it's so good. As my nose itches. This is also a little like smack on my hand about my dog. In case you haven't listened to my podcast before or watched videos where I've talked about Star. Star and I are growing up together, and I got a lot of growing up still to do. He is my teacher. So I think this is Star and my guides going, gotta love the dog. Gotta love the dog because they're going to be by your side. My son would love this card. He's always yelling at me like, you need to love Star more. It's a lot of work to love a dog that loves you so unconditionally. Okay, the next little nugget from our guides, the Hermit card. Here we are, new moon in Cancer, right? What I would say about this card is feel the feelings. You know, sometimes we're very afraid to go back to those origins of whatever the thing is we're exploring as we're becoming the master. I feel like I'm doing all these card things. In order for us to touch the origins, sometimes we get really afraid it's going to hurt, or we might cry, or we might feel alone or isolated. Well, if you look at this, this master has all this magic and energy around, and complete support from astrology, from the universe. This is the same thing, the master, the hermit. It's the exact same thing, except this little one is practicing the magic that is being mastered, practicing the magic by floating in the air and just shining that light all around. I feel like when this little one completes whatever, because if you look, it's actually, I think, a little child. Looks like a child to me. When this one completes all of the sitting, hermiting, whatever is happening up here, and then there's this landing on the path, and then the path can go either direction. The path can go into this little house. Do you see the little light right there? Feels like there's like a hidden home a hidden castle in the rocks here. Like this being can float out into whatever energy's out here. This one can choose where to go. And in the process of being a hermit, the strength of that light is being activated. The strength of the power of the magic within is being activated. And so this one can levitate, can float above all that's happening here, and then get clear on what's next. So I feel like our guides with this card, it's also the number 9 card, right? The completion, number 9 is completion to me. It feels like it's interesting when you see these also. Actually, even this one. Look at how you free fall with trust. What if the part we're not seeing after the free fall is that this one folds its arms and becomes this, and it stops in the middle of the free fall and floats, trying to decide which path to go on. Or you could do this. Does not look like fun, does it? It looks like a lot of work, a lot of effort, a lot of pushing and forcing and trying to keep it all together, all this energy that's trapped. Instead of, see this light here that wants to come out? Let the light just shine out of your chakra system, like whoosh, activate the magic. Dumbledore talk again. Dumbledore would say, yes, activate the magic, and then you can float above all of these options and then decide what it is you want to do. So I feel like this card is saying it's okay if you need some time to be still, to tune into what's going on inside of you, to be with all the stories and the mastering that's happening inside. You know, trust that all of that light is doing its thing and clearing and healing and then radiating out. Yeah, there's a lot of energy happening around this new moon in Cancer, and for a very good reason, right? We have 2 of them back to back, the new moon in Cancer in June, and now this one here in July, because there's this deeper level of soul work, self work that we're being invited into, deeper within ourselves. And what a beautiful sign to be doing that in Cancer, right? Last month I talked about the turtle with its little backpack on its back, ready to go explore the world, knowing it has everything it needs inside. So if that was round 1 of the new moon in Cancer energy, now we're in round 2. So what's in the backpack? Magic? Is that what's in the backpack? Right? Or are you going to wrestle that backpack? Try to figure it out. Tie yourself up into knots. Both ways teach. Both ways will get you into the next month. We'll meet back here in August, and all of this will have already played itself out. So you get to choose. You get to be the master of your choice, the master of yourself. And no way is a wrong way. That's the biggest lesson of Zen, right? No way is the wrong way. Every path is perfect. but awareness of what the path options are. You might decide this into this is what I would pick, right? Like, how cool is that? To like do this little free fall trick where you suddenly are like sitting there. That's pretty cool. Yeah, and then just honoring Cancer, home, family, love, innocence. Look at the innocence of the puppy and the child. So beautiful. All right, so we begin compassion. Move towards compassion. That's where we are right now. And then do your individual mastery. Knowing that's where we're headed. So good. If you need support, I created a new moon meditation this morning, which is so beautiful. So beautiful. It's a chakra clearing activation, connecting us to the universe, grounding us here on this planet. So that is available on my website under events, New Moon Magic, if you want to tune into that. All right. I will see you next month. So much love.